Hey, it's John Benedict, Wrigley Field organist. You're watching Around the Piano with Tim Paul at 216 Creator Studios.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Around the Piano, and we literally are sitting around the piano today. And we're going to introduce our special guest from Yhprum. Did I get that right?
Yhprum.
Yhprum. I knew I'd get it wrong. I have a habit of doing that, but we'll tell you that story later. But Drew, how you doing today?
Hey, good, Tim. Hey, listen, I don't think we've had more people around the piano than these guys here. So this will be very interesting, the way we had to set this up. And I'm very excited about having them in the studio today. A lot of great local talent here in the Crystal Lake area in Montgomery County. So listen, folks, if you like what you see here today, don't be afraid to go to that old Google box, hit the YouTube channel, 216 Creator Studios, hit that live tab, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you ding that bell for the future notifications. We appreciate all the support that we've been getting on this show. Tim, it's been a great ride.
It has been.
We got
just beginning.
Absolutely. And, stay tuned. We're going back to NAMM this year. We already got some interviews lining up. They're starting to knock on the door. Plus we're doing a couple presentations this year there, which should be a lot of fun. But yeah, so, hey, listen, without further ado, let's talk about Yhprum.
Let's do that. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves a little bit. Will?
Yes, sir.
Rob?
Yep.
Charlie, Jack, and Kyle. I did it.
Congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. Round of applause.
So you guys got started, as I understand, you all went to high school together?
We all went to high school, us three. We actually went to elementary school together.
Wow.
Way back in the day. So that's how we ended up meeting. Me and him have actually been playing music since high school, and that's where this project originally started. We were going under the name Fargon when we first started. And we didn't really have too many songs. We were just doing those live shows with just mainly covers. And, oh, by the way, we have a couple songs that we've been working on. Then eventually after high school, I ended up going to college. Will ended up doing his own thing. But when I came back, we decided to start working on some of our own music again. And when we did come back, everything that we were doing was just so much more, I'm going to say epic for lack of a better word, just because I know I had developed much more as a musician from our high school days, him especially as a vocalist. He's already an amazing vocalist, but he's matured so much in the 10 years that we've known each other, something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's been a wild ride, but here we are as Yhprum now.
Now, how long has Yhprum been together?
Yhprum's officially been a band since May or June, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Will decided that we wanted to get a full band together, and like I said, we've known Charlie forever, and if you don't know Charlie, everybody wants to be in a band with Charlie because Charlie is just awesome.
Facts.
He's one of the most amazing guitar players and musicians that we've had the pleasure to know. So having Charlie in the band is
He's the
awesome.
Slash of the group.
He is our
Is that
Slash
what-
of the group. He just goes to the top hat and the glasses.
Rock and roll, man.
Jack, actually, we met working at Cantina 52 a couple years ago now. I was working in the kitchen, he was serving, and somehow in passing, we just started talking about music, and we're like, oh yeah, we should jam sometime. And then a couple months went by after we both quit that job, and was like, I think I posted a Snapchat video or something. He was like, oh, we should jam sometime. I was like, okay, cool. So I started, playing guitar. He would play drums with his buddy Brett. And I was like, oh man, Charlie would be really cool to involve in these jams as well. And then it turned out that they had already known each other and they had already played in a group before. Was that Bluesberries that Charlie was playing in?
We did play together in that a little bit.
Yes.
Same with Kyle. We all did a gig together once.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Me too with Kyle too, because I've been playing with you since first show I played with you. Actually, I don't even remember. I was like 16.
Yeah.
You were playing with Alabaster, and I was playing solo.
Yep.
Right,
That was
and
a while back.
I used to be the bassist in the band Kyle is in Alabaster.
Yeah.
So it all just goes around.
Yeah, it's just
Complex
full circles all over the
So you
place.
guys were
with
kind
us.
of all in a band together when you even weren't together.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
Say that.
we've all played together
Yeah.
for a while.
It's
already,
been a long
separately.
time coming, sort of
So you
deal.
probably meshed together pretty quickly
Oh, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah. This is the heart of the McHenry County local music scene right here.
then. That's awesome. So where are you based out of? Is this what town?
Primarily Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's where we
Okay.
practice.
Okay, that's excellent. So if you could tell our audience one thing about Yhprum that you would want them to remember and not forget, what would that be?
Beautiful angelic voice and some good shreds, some tasty drums, and crazy acoustic guitar.
Okay, that's more than
Good
one
bass,
thing.
too.
But
You could tell them about the name.
Oh yeah. So the band name is a funny conversation that we've all been having for the longest time. Because a couple years ago, I learned about Murphy's Law, and I'm gonna paraphrase it because I can never get it totally right. But if it can't work, then it won't work. But then I was in that Google search. One of the suggested searches was, what is Yhprum's Law? So I was like, oh, okay, what is Yhprum's Law? And that's the exact opposite. If it can work, it will work. And I really resonated with that, especially in terms of thinking about a musical project, because we don't categorize ourselves to one specific genre. I'd say we have a unique sound between all of us, but I mean we're blending in country roots, reggae roots, rock and roll, sometimes even like gospel-ish sounds in our mix. And I just like to think that like if it can work, it will work, and we will be able to also just appeal to a larger audience that way. In terms of, oh yeah, you don't like this country song we wrote, but we also have this reggae sound that we do, and we also have this really cool rock sound as well. And sometimes we delve into, like the pop punk stuff a little bit, sometimes the R&B section of things, and there's always going to be something in there for everyone. And that's what I think I want people to take away from Yhprum is, to be cheesy about it, we're here for you. We're making music for you guys, for everybody out there who is a fan of music and just enjoys the concept of what music can do.
I love that.
that's an excellent attitude. Right?
I love that mindset, man. That's fantastic. And I love the fact that you're not capping yourself on one genre. You're like a fusion band, So, going around the table there, what was your start in genre? What was your main genre? And let's just go around the table and figure that out, because if you're doing everything from a reggae to a country to a pop to I think I heard a little bit of alternative on a couple of your videos, which is such a wide variety. Running in variable like that really gains a lot of attraction to a lot of different audiences, which is great. So, what was the genre you started with, like individually before you met?
For Kyle, do you want to start? We'll go around this way.
Sure. I guess I kind of started off when I first started playing guitar. I was playing a lot of like Metallica and like that kind of 80s metal stuff. And then I discovered classic rock and like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that in high school.
Love it.
Kind of took it from there, and I started getting into like other things, here and there, like more jazz influence and but really just like a rock bass, I guess you could say.
That's awesome. That
Yeah.
you're talking my genre right there. You're talking my generation,
Yeah.
which is pretty hot, man. That's fire. I love that. What about you?
I started on rock and roll too. Led Zeppelin, Rush. Those were my first like teachers, I guess you could say.
Nice.
A lot of music from the '60s, and a lot of indie stuff from like the 2000s and the 2010s too, like Young the Giant, Group Love.
Mhm.
I was in love with those bands back in the day.
Nice. Charlie Slash of the group.
Well, I mean, yeah, as the guitarist starts with blues and then goes to like metal, rock, like jazz, and then I started listening to like electronic music and rap and stuff.
Yep.
You know.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. You got a variety on the other spectrum of the earth right there, right? The hip
Oh,
hop beats all the way
also,
down to.
Early on, you got to throw funk in there.
Funk
is
all the way.
Oh, I
yeah.
love funk, man. That's awesome. Rob.
Starting out, it was definitely rock and roll. When 'cause I started taking guitar lessons when I was 6, and when I was 3 or 4, I remember rocking out with my brothers in the back of my dad's car to Aerosmith, AC/DC, Van Halen, and we always just really resonated with that music. But I was also the youngest of 2 older brothers, so I was always kind of following what they were doing, and they were getting into whatever they could get their hands on. So I was listening to like hardcore punk, classic punk, death metal, black metal, melodic metal. Prog metal is where I definitely fell into more with bands like Dream Theater, Haken, Leprous, but also like the classic bands like Yes, Genesis, King Crimson, Gentle Giant is a
Awesome.
big one. So yeah,
You named more metals than I knew there were. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
always will.
You know.
there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm a little different in the sense of like when I started playing music and doing music, everyone in my family plays in a metal band or in a rock band to like a good extent, like where they got pretty far. And so for me, I was always like around metal, but I actually did the opposite. I did singer-songwriter stuff from when I was 13, and I used to tour around and do shows all the time when I was 13, 14. And then it became overwhelming because I was 13 and 14 years old, so I basically stopped doing it. And then later I met him and then started writing music basically together again.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a good mix. So, what's your favorite singer-songwriter that you would do?
My personal favorite is probably Elliott Smith from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He sadly killed himself, but he was a great songwriter. I loved some of his songwriting. It was so good. And some of his guitar playing is very, very good as well. And then another one is like John Mayer. Love John Mayer. I think that he writes, even though people hate on him all the time, I think he writes great music.
He's a fantastic
great guitar
writer.
player.
Yep.
Exactly. So, yeah, those are like 2 that I'm definitely inspired by for sure.
That's awesome. So that mix, you're similar, but there's enough difference there when you're bringing all that together as a band. You are creating your own genre, so to speak, with this. If you're taking something from all of those genres that you guys just talked about, from your early childhood to now, you've got something to build on together because you're drawing from each other. And I assume that's how you do it. When you do a rehearsal, how does a rehearsal go? Does one of you do most of the songwriting, or is it a collaboration type of thing?
Since me and him started the project, the majority of the songwriting is us right now. We're always inclusive just because we know that these guys are amazing musicians and composers, and if they have something that they want to bring to the table, we'll make it work. We'll do whatever we can to make it happen.
I also feel like too, like if you like, especially like when you are a band and you know it works, like if somebody writes something and then they get a piece of it and they write it, it means just as much to me as it does to them. And that's my goal for when we write music is whatever I write, I want it to mean as much to me as it does to them.
That's awesome.
So I want them to put their, taste on it or their to
Team
make it
first.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's going to make good music, in my opinion.
That's great. So you guys have been together since June, you said, right?
Right.
So, how many songs do you have ready to go?
Ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go.
We have, I want to say 12 songs ready to go on deck that we're trying to learn. There's like another, we just went through a new one last night that we're going to start talking about more. But after that, we still have like 7 more songs. So we hopefully by the end of the year, maybe January, February time, we'll be working on getting something together for an album. And then on top of that, we'll probably be ready for another album after that.
Okay. So now you're playing gigs. Are you doing mostly the original, or are you also including your covers?
We're trying to make it mostly originals.
Mm-hmm.
I like to include a cover if we can find a creative way to do it. Like we just did a show in September, and we threw 2 covers in there. Technically 3. One of them was a mashup of When I Come Around and
All Star.
All Star, thank you. And that one just kind of came out of the band practice. We were just messing around. Someone started playing the riff, and then all of a sudden someone started playing All Star, and we're like, oh, that kind of works together. So we decided to throw that into our set because everyone loves a good mashup. And then we also threw in Walk Away by Ballyhoo, just because we felt like we have a new song called Escape that goes along that reggae vibe. And in terms of tempo and feel and vibe, they definitely work together. So I thought that if we were going to include our new reggae song, it would be cool to include that Ballyhoo cover of Walk Away as well. So as long as it comes out to a creative way to do it, or if it's a really good song and it's cool, then by all means. But that's usually how I like to go about covers now with us.
How many gigs have you guys done together?
3?
Yeah, I think it's like 3.
Yeah, so you guys are you're fairly new together,
Mhm.
obviously, and so you're out there doing 3. So, and playing some of these fusion songs, and what it sounds like to me. You gotta excuse my ignorance. I am not a musician, but when you do a cover, you guys are making it your own. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yep,
So it just
exactly.
doesn't sound like the original song, but it is a cover to something, which I absolutely love. I love mashups. I love creativity for somebody takes a cover and makes it their own. And so, some of the string stuff I can understand, but for the heartbeat of it, Jack, how hard is that to adjust from going from an original cover to making it your own on the drum side? Is that pretty hard to do?
Sometimes, definitely, especially with some of the covers that these guys propose. It's stuff that I'm not too familiar with, like especially some of the reggae stuff and the punk too. So it's actually been really fruitful being pushed out of my comfort zone
Awesome.
in that regard. So I would consider it a form of growth.
No, that's a
all around.
great mindset on all you young guys, man. Damn. When I was their age, and here I go sounding like that guy, right? When I was your age, everybody wanted to be in charge. Bands didn't stick long enough together because nobody knew how to work like a team, right? And I love the fact that you think that way, Jack, because listen, as a business coach, I usually preach when you're comfortable, nothing ever gets done. It's when you're uncomfortable is when things actually grow and get done. So I love the way you guys think. That's fantastic. Tim, because I know you're into death metal just by looking at you.
You can tell.
Right. Coming from a more of a classic background in music, what are your thoughts to these young guys and the way the music's working today?
Oh, I think what you guys do is amazing. There's every genre. I appreciate metal, and I listen to metal. My son loved metal when he was going through school. I grew up in the age of 60s rock and roll. So I was the early ones. I was the Buddy Holly fan. And when I was your age, we did a little recording, and I was on the road quite a bit in the 70s as a musician. It was a little bit different then. First of all, equipment was heavier because I played piano.
Strap that to your back.
But it was always the keyboardists and the drummers that needed the help to move the equipment in. Back in the day, our guitarist wasn't much help, but that's another story for another day. But but the serious part is it's so different. I envy you guys today because in our day when we did recording, if you made one little blip, one little mistake, you had to start over in the recording studio. Today, you can kind of correct some of those things you're going because the editing tools are amazing that you have today. And I just think it's great. You've got everybody wants to be a rock and roll star. Not everybody makes it, but the ones that do stick together, and it appears you guys got a lot in common just starting out from the beginning. So I think you guys
100%.
got a really, really good chance.
Very intelligent young men too, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
The
that.
fact that you're inclusive of each other when you're doing the creative process. A lot of times bands break up because there's a division among them. It's going to be okay to have differences. You're going to disagree on how things might be done in the rehearsal room and getting it to full fruition. But you guys, in the early going here, from what I'm gathering from you guys, you work pretty well together, and you want the feedback from it, and you kind of work it out. So I think that's great. So,
Well, the similar goal helps, and also, by the way, if you lean in a little bit on that mic, Tim, because you are cutting in and out a little bit.
am I cutting? you
Yeah,
out?
sorry, folks. The 3 mics and 400 people around the table. So we're trying our best here.
Probably better if you don't hear me that much.
Oh, you kidding me? It's the voice of an angel,
Yeah.
a drowning one.
Fallen
Anyways,
or something.
right. And stay tuned because after this, you guys will be listening to at least a couple. You guys going to do a couple songs, right? That's awesome. So we'll make our way back over to the other studio, and we'll get that data. And then once this airs out there, I'm excited about it. I really am.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to
It
it.
should be pretty great. What songs are you going to play for us today?
We were thinking Ghost of You, which is one of our favorites to play live. Has a lot of energy and a lot of dynamics to it. And we're talking See Me? See Me is the other one we're going to do. That's one that we're working on right now in the studio. We're like 98% done with it. We're hoping that we are able to get that one done before November ends.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
Did you remember your harmonica?
Yes, I did.
Let's go.
I even bought a new one.
There
Oh,
you
nice.
go.
Harmonica as well. Man, I'm so jealous. I wish I had that talent. I just don't.
You play cowbell real well.
Triangle and cowbell.
I've
That's
got an
where.
electric triangle.
You know what? I will move into the electric triangle. I love the way you think. There's just not enough cowbell. At Saturday Night Live said so.
Yeah.
So at least I can get there. So growing up, I grew up. I'm an Italian kid from the south side of Chicago. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't know. Everybody calls me. Don't call my last name. It's Cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
I grew up with the Rat Pack. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. Those guys were like the life soul of what my family listened to on a daily, right? So I rebelled out of that a little bit. I was more into hip hop. I was a breakdancing kid. I was, we did a lot of different digital music that I listened to, and then I moved into the Plant Page, Led Zeppelin, Skid Row, Motley Crue, leading into the Big Hair era, Poison. And you know what, too? It wasn't like I loved every song on an album. There was like maybe 3 songs or 4 songs on an album that I would like. And most people would be like, oh, did you listen to so-and-so? I'm like, I don't know what that is. And they play the song. I'm like, oh, I know that song,
That's right.
So it was like one of those. And so it's always about brand awareness. That's where my talents come into play. I help in bringing brand awareness. Therefore, Yhprum is sitting in front of you today. Looking forward to hearing what they got to play and how they work together is fantastic. I also would love another roundabout around the table into the future with them to see, hey, how have we progressed? Where are we going? Maybe we'll have our band room up and running by then. Right, Tim?
It won't be that long now. We're
No.
getting there.
Right.
Getting
Right.
close.
We also, so you guys are aware, we're also tied into, a lot of the chambers and a lot of the events that happen around the area. So I'd be happy to throw your names out there for big stage events, stuff like that, and help gather some data on that. I watched what you guys have done online. So Rob, if people wanted to see you online and some of the stuff that you've done, where can they go?
Well, first challenge is of course learning how to spell Murphy backwards. So that's Yhprum. You can find Yhprum on YouTube, Yhprum Band. We have actually the majority of our live sets are on the Yhprum Band YouTube channel if you wanted to check out our music. We have a couple singles up on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, where music is streamable. And then, of course, we have Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, okay. So you're on a lot of platforms. Make sure I get that data. And you know what, folks, if you look at the description below, there will be a link to all those things to where you can see where they've been playing and what they do. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you to do a gig, how would they get a hold of you?
Instagram or Facebook would be a good way to do that. We also have yhprumband@gmail.com.
Nice.
Is our email address.
Fantastic. Tim, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I was just gonna I was gonna encourage you guys to do. You may or may not be aware, but this next go around next year, when you guys have been playing for a year, I would encourage you to apply for bands at NAMM.
Yep.
Because they have literally 1,000 bands play at NAMM on different stages. So they set them up in the different hotels, and some of them are outdoors. And it happens in Anaheim every January. So you'd have to get yourself to California, but the application for that process usually happens pretty early on in the summer. And if you guys are interested, we'll keep you posted on that. We'll send you the information, because that would be a great place to expose your music on more of a national level.
Has any of you ever been out that way to the NAMM? Yeah. So,
Not to NAMM, but out to California.
out to Cali. Have you been to NAMM?
I have been in NAMM. I know of it though.
Okay. So it was my first time going last year. And when I tell you it's a rock concert 24/7, it's literally a rock concert 24/7. And I don't know where all the skunks come from, but there's a lot of skunks there. Because I was like, where are all these skunks coming from?
You're in the hotels.
I know.
Everywhere.
Anywhere from rock to punk to jazz to, we met these people here, Roseaway, which is when I was like, it's a drum and a flute. What are we doing, right? And then I interviewed them, and then we heard them play. I was blown away. And Jack, if you get a chance to go to 216 Creator Studios on our YouTube channel and find that presentation I did where they were playing, you will hear a drum solo that will blow your goddamn head off. I was like, what is happening? And they were awesome. So she's like a jazz flautist.
Jazz flautist, vocalist. Yeah.
Vocalist. Yeah. They're from Paris. So it's got a really unique,
I wouldn't classify it straight jazz. It's
a weird fusion, right? It's a whole new genre in itself. These guys can jam, man. They're awesome and humble. And didn't they just get an award?
They've got a Grammy nomination for this.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
definitely check it out.
Absolutely. So, and when if you do get a chance, they even if you can't perform there, just to go as a group and build those relationships. There's so much happening there. So much. I couldn't listen. I'm an old guy, right? I'm there by 6 o'clock. I was looking at somebody like, I'm ready for bed. I can't keep up with these young guys, man, because I got a camera up. I got a microphone up. No, and I couldn't. Well, I don't know what drugs you were on that day, so we're not going to talk about that on here. Right. It rhymes with no, not zero coke, but no, for real though, it was
zero.
right, Coke Zero. I want to say the Marriott, the Hilton, they have their own stages. And then there's the big stage in the middle. So you got the Marriott here, you got the Hilton here. So it's like they're across from each other. And then in the center of that is this ginormous stage. And then the convention building that they sell all the instruments at, and They do breakfast and they do all this cool stuff. Like Prince's piano was there. You see a lot of you'll see Willie Nelson walking around. You'll see, a bunch of cool artists that are just walking around like it's nothing, right? But every stage from morning till night is playing a band, and they just keep rotating. It's crazy. You guys would have a blast. So even if you don't sign up, or go get a feel for it, and then once you get that feel for it, then yeah, register up for it. And then I would love to be recording you guys at those stages too. That would be hot. That'd be fire. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not the first person to suggest we go there, actually. Our producer, Jake Lizio, he was strongly encouraging us to go. Shout out to Signals Music Studios.
Yeah.
You can find him on YouTube. He's a brilliant man.
We're friends with Jake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jake
sure.
originally taught bass in our store years ago.
Nice.
Actually, that's how I originally met Jake, was taking lessons at Piano Trends.
Oh, no
That's where I
kidding.
started when I was 6.
I
yeah.
knew your name was real familiar. That's very cool. Very cool. In fact, I know Jake's going to help us out with a few things at NAMM Show this year. He'll be here with us.
Yeah, Jake's he's a big dog, man. He's out there. He's got a great radio voice too, and he's talking about doing some stuff in our studio as well. He stores stuff here in our downstairs area, which is, I keep pushing Tim a venue. He's like, stop suggesting it. But you know what, man? Talking about piano trends makes me want to do this.
That's a very interesting concept, and it's something that I definitely want to explore further. But, first, 216 Creator Studios. If you haven't shared, like, and subscribed, we'd like you to do that as soon as this show is over. Like, share, and subscribe to 216 Creator Studios. Guys, let's get back to this. That was a great concert, and I'd love to talk.
And if you guys aren't aware that, Tim is a face on just about every commercial, there's this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for taking a coffee break with us. We'll be back to our program in a minute. But hey, Drew, let's talk Piano Trends music for a minute here.
Piano trends, one of my favorite conversations. We're talking trumpets, we're talking pianos, we're talking saxophones, trombones, trumpet, you name it, guitars, acoustical guitars, customized guitars, lessons. Listen, books. They got everything. PianoTrends.com. Please check them out. Tim, what is it that you're known for at Piano Trends?
Service, rentals, sales, repair, lessons, everything. We're the small shop that does everything in our community.
Love it. Check them out. Shoot them a quick address if they want to come visit you.
35 Berkshire Drive, Crystal Lake, Illinois. But you can find everything on the website at PianoTrends.com.
PianoTrends.com. Thanks, folks.
See you later.
Hey, welcome back.
So I got one serious question for you guys. And so because you guys have been together only for a certain amount of time, that you've been working together, as you see people and younger artists than you that are trying to make it, what advice would you give about coming together as a band in order to strive forward?
Patience and acceptance. Patience with each other, acceptance of each other's differences. Keep working forward. Don't forget that you're a team.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Be
What about
honest too.
Yeah.
If you're not honest, then you're almost lying in a sense, and you want to be honest so you're not dissatisfied with yourself as well.
transparency? I love it. I love it. Kyle, what about you?
Just try to stay creative, keep an open mind to new ideas, and you never know what can stick.
I love that. I could see Kyle by a candle, like reading futures to people for some reason. He's just you can see the intelligence flowing off of this crew, man. It makes me nervous a little bit. Jack, what about you?
I would say just open-mindedness to new ideas and a willingness to always rise up to the task.
Far out. That's awesome. Charlie?
Just stay together. Enjoy the music.
I love Charlie's voice, by the way. You should think about doing some voiceovers for us, brother. Lo and behold. Awesome. Well, listen, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. But do you guys have anything that you want to promote?
Yeah, actually, we do have a show coming up December 28th. It's going to be Alabaster, Bluesberries, and Yhprum all together, doing a New Year's pre-party show, Mackey's Hideout in McHenry.
That's
Nice.
hot. That's fire, man. Awesome. You make sure you give me that data too. I'll drop it in the description below.
Perfect.
And then that way people in a link to where they can go if there's tickets to buy or if it's just, pay at the door kind of thing. We're not quite sure how that works, but awesome. Well, you heard it here, folks. Around the piano with Tim Paul, we got Yhprum. Said that right?
Right.
See, I got it.
Yeah,
Yhprum. Right.
So the story goes 3 times, and you were the third. I have mispronounced the band's or the artist's last name. So the first time we're at the NAMM show, and we're sitting around the table, and that's where we came with the name Around the Piano. We're sitting around this lunch table, and we're talking with Thomas Claxton and his band of renown, all these, the Eddie Martinez and the Carmine Rojas that we were talking about
Yep.
before. And I go and I start off and I introduce him as Thomas Clayton instead of Claxton. And he corrected me kindly.
Yeah.
But we got that and we tried to edit it out. And then the second time, this was worse. So we interviewed David Freiberg and Kathy Richardson of Jefferson Starship during the summer. And I introduced him as David Freeberg. And I said, okay, here we go again. So we edited that kind of.
I was able to edit that.
Yeah. So, and then you were the third, and I said, you from. You from where?
In all
From-
fairness, it's not an easy one
Yeah,
to
that was
try
not
and
easy.
get
Oh, you're
down.
very kind. I like that's because you took lessons at Piano Trends.
Don't give him any leeway. How am I supposed to give him a hard time on a daily basis if you give him that kind of leeway? No.
We'll have
But-
fun at NAMM this year because we got a lot of names.
Oh, there is a lot of names. There was a couple names too that were sketchy, and he was like, "I'm afraid to pronounce that because it sounds like a sex part."
You did.
And I was like, "Okay." So we definitely do some of our homework now. We learn lessons here just as much as you guys would working together. But I'll tell you, without Tim Paul, there is no Around the Piano. Probably one of the biggest legends that nobody knows about who he knows and the things that he knows is just ridiculous. Because he'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, we're gonna do this interview with. I'll just throw it out there. If it was like Willie Nelson, or if it was like, I'm like, wait, what?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I used to tune, what was it, Liberace's piano?"
I tuned to Liberace's
Yeah.
piano.
I'm like,
not
oh.
Willie Nelson's.
No, not Willie Nelson. You can't be around Willie Nelson. He smokes way too much
Yeah,
weed.
he went to-
You know,
Maybe he was at NAMM.
he probably was.
Yeah, skunks.
Yeah. Well, I heard 2 people. If you hang out with them, you're done for it. One's Snoop Dogg, the other one's Willie, and I heard Willie put Snoop Dogg under. So that tells you a lot.
Yeah, he does. Right.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, folks, thanks for joining us here around the piano. Thanks to Yhprum for joining us. Stay tuned. They're going to give us a couple songs. Looking forward to that. And until next time, keep on.
Keeping on. Smile and be kind.
Hi guys, we're Yhprum, and the song's Ghost of You.
no.